What is up, guys, and welcome to the Meeple Minded Podcast, the podcast where we talk all things tabletop gaming. My name is Jason.
And I'm James.
And I'm Ant, a.k.a. The Third Voice.
Is back. How are you doing, sir? What has been going on? Tell us your wisdom.
Let's just say I never want to see another passenger again.
Did you ever?
I did.
Oh.
Unfortunately.
Wow.
But that time has passed and I'm back now. Let's never speak of it again.
Yeah, I mean, we sort of touched on it a little bit last week, didn't we? About like all the fun and games that's been happening at the old airports and just the airline industry in general with that lovely IT.
If it's not a power cut, it's protesters. It's something with Gatwick. So
nice. Yeah, I heard you had the old was it Just Stop Oil douchebags?
We did.
We're not political on this, but they're douchebags.
They are douchebags. And what they did was nothing compared to what they did to Heathrow. I mean, passengers were just walking all over them, and then they were arrested within like half an hour. So it was utterly pointless. So
yeah. I mean, I sort of was just thinking after I said that, I was like, oh god, we might lose some listeners of that. I was like, well, actually, the only people that don't think that they're douchebags are them themselves, and I don't really care if they don't want to listen to me. So yeah, they're douchebags.
Yeah. Do one.
Yeah. Stop. Making the world go slower.
And play board games.
Yeah, do something with your life. Like play board games.
Exactly.
Which is what we do.
They could play Earth Rising, doesn't that get rid of oil and stuff? Or is it
I think so.
something like that?
And I mean, they would get a hint of how the world actually works.
Yeah.
With that game, because you are trying to make the world sustainable, and you almost never succeed because it's almost impossible to do. Life lessons from board games.
There we go. Who says you never learn anything from board games, right?
Exactly. But yeah, other than that, how has your... I mean, it's what, 3 weeks since we sat down?
Right, mate. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So it's nice to be back.
Yeah. We held the fort really
You did,
well
and it was a good
week,
episode. It was a very good episode. I was gutted I wasn't on that because I played that recently with you guys.
Yes.
And
what did we do? It was Draft and Right, wasn't it? That's what it was.
Really enjoyed that game. Very good game.
Yes, I absolutely love it. I've played so much. And I said it on the episodes. I played loads. I haven't stopped.
Yeah.
I'm still playing it loads on BGA.
Yeah.
I'm having to take a break from it from a couple of weeks, though, because you're stealing it.
I was about to say, it's like it shows how much it is, because I want to borrow it to play with some of our mutual friends, because I think they'll really enjoy it. So, yes, once we have finished recording this evening, I'm...
Nicking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not going to go and buy his own copy.
He's going to swap. He's going to swap Autobahn for it. So you keep Autobahn, he'll keep that.
Well, I've had that all along. So it's not really a fair trade, that one, is it? But yes, you're stealing it.
Yep.
And then you're giving it back to me. I'm going to have it back for like a day, and then it's going to Stephen at Tabletop Games because he wants to play it with some people and take some photos and do some other stuff.
There you go, mate.
I don't know what he wants to do with it.
The beauty of having a game that's not actually released yet.
Well, yeah, I suppose that. Yeah, I think.
Or is it out now?
I think it's out
is
now.
Out now?
Yeah,
okay.
At the time of recording, it should be out now. Apologies to Inside Up Games if it got delayed, but yeah, it should be out now. But yes, we are back. James, how have you been this past week?
Oh, pretty standard, Not enjoying the hot weather in our line of work, because,
blistering like 32 degrees, and I know the Americans once again will be, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, 32 degrees, but yeah, it's different.
It is different.
We're British. First off, we're allowed to moan about everything. That's our thing. And second off, the heat here is awful. We don't have aircon.
Yeah. It's supposed to be cold, so our buildings are designed to trap heat, not let it out.
Yes. And it's been raining a fair bit recently, but the houses are still swelteringly hot because they're retaining the heat like they are supposed to do. And, yeah.
Yeah, and to top it off, I have to drive around in an unair-conditioned van.
Oh,
I don't
have that problem.
Envy you on that one. I don't quite have that problem. I'm lucky enough to have a very nicely air conditioner, although one of the drivers today came back after being stuck on the M25 motorway for 2 hours, and while he was stuck on the motorway, the air conditioning broke.
Oh.
Ouch.
So yeah, he was sat on the M25 for about an hour and a half with no air conditioning.
Just get one of those big bottles of water and just smother them.
It was right near Heathrow as well, so no cover at all, so it was all open. Oh, he looked like he'd been in a sauna for about 6 hours. He was drenched. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm with Ant on this one. I think I would have got at the back and started cracking open the water and just...
It doesn't work at the end of the day, though, when it's empty, though.
Oh, if it's empty, then it's fine. I get that, but yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I do really feel sorry for him, but I did have a very nice chuckle at his expense.
As is your right.
It is.
As a fellow work
And
colleague.
I'm fully aware that, justice will be served, and tomorrow I will likely break down in the arse end of nowhere and probably be stuck there for 8 hours while the AA comes up with every excuse under the sun as to why they haven't attended to assist, and then eventually turn up and say they can't do anything. Doesn't sound like that's happened to me before, does it? No.
I wonder. The more important question for your work colleague is, are they going to fix it?
I would assume so, but because we don't have spare vans, he's going to have to deal with it until it's fixed. So I know he was praying for the storm that we are all looking out the window waiting for at the moment, because it is due.
Yeah.
We've seen a couple of flashes of lightning. I think maybe one rumble of thunder, I think we heard, but no
Just
rain
about.
yet.
So it means it's far away at the moment.
Yeah. So we are awaiting its imminent arrival. We have got the windows open. We have got the fan on at the moment. So hopefully I've managed to get rid of those noises. But if you suddenly hear a big bang, it's thunder.
We're still alive, guys. It's fine.
We'll try and confirm that we're still. Unless, of course, we get an instant power cut, which is what we were joking about beforehand.
It's got that so happen now.
But yeah, we're going to try and avoid that.
Yes. The third voice has tempted fate.
So yeah, well, should we touch on that, Jess? Because obviously we've said it a couple of times now. And how do you like your new nickname of the third voice?
It's better than the noob, so I'm happy with the third voice. When I listened to that episode last week, and I was like, do you know what? I kind of like that.
Yeah, good.
I can.
That's not bad for
I can
like
get
the
back on that,
spur of
yeah.
the moment thing, is it? Really?
Yeah, this is a joke that we're now running with. Apparently,
Gonna run with it. Yeah.
People come from far and wide to hear the third voice speak. Tell us your wisdom.
I'm just going to play as that character from Mandalorian. Who's like, I have spoken.
But yeah, we are going to have to call upon your wisdom more often.
I get my wisdom from you two guys. You think I've got any?
Oh well, that's the world over and done with then.
Me, wisdom.
So now I feel we've kind of caused a bit of a conundrum, James, because we've dubbed Ant the third voice, and we've already dubbed you 2-Game James. I think really we need to come up with something for me that incorporates the number 1, because I was the first. So now we need a 1, 2, and a 3. So, thinking caps on. Yeah, thinking caps on. I mean, I originally joked about like the whole wrestling thing, didn't I? We are the one. I am the one.
It's true, you are the head of the table.
This is your podcast, the head of the table, and all that.
Ironic, because you're not sitting at the head of the table right now.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I have got a whole side to myself.
He does have a side to himself.
That's how good I am. Although I have to keep. I'm not liking this setup actually, because I've realised I'm expending energy having to turn and face either. Or I look at a blank wall.
Yep, which is why you should be at the head of the table there, because then you wouldn't have to do that.
Yes, yeah. But then I'll be, I suppose, yeah.
So we're not calling him that then?
No. I mean, I've got plenty of nicknames for him that involve the word one, but none of them are family friendly.
Yeah. As I say, we could probably come up with a few to a degree.
I'm interested to see what you come up with over the next few weeks.
Okay.
So maybe we'll put a new segment in every show, which is...
We're getting new T-shirts.
Yeah, a new segment in every show. Which is like, what's Jason's nickname this week?
I think this is his clever ploy to get me to buy more games, because I would have to wind him up every time he got a T-shirt made by buying another game.
Change the name.
It was out of date.
It was 3 game. Now it's 4 games.
It's all right. I'll just make him pay for the merch. It's fine. I've got no problem with that. But anyway, shall we crack on with this episode? We've been chatting for near on 10 minutes at this point. This is a board game podcast about board games, believe it or not. And this is our monthly sort of new... It's not really a news show. It's a what's occurring episode. What's been happening. We'll talk about the games we played this time last year. We'll talk about a game that has stood out to us this month. We will, of course, take our monthly visit to the Hype Club.
Yep.
And, of course, we will finish out with a few news stories from the previous month. Obviously, this month will be July. So shall we jump in and talk about the games that we talked about this time last year?
Let's do it.
Of course, and you still weren't on the show this time last year, but I do believe you've played. I know you've played one of these.
Okay.
I think you've played both.
All right.
So we will start off by talking about Unmatched Battle of Legends Volume 1.
Wow, has that been a year already?
Restoration Games. This was a me and James episode, but this was the unofficial start of the that special series that we still haven't finished.
Still haven't finished, yeah.
Where we go through every single Unmatched set. But either way, Battle of Legends Volume 1 is where the game started.
It is.
Do we still play it? How do we feel about it? James, a year on, how do you feel about Battle of Legends Volume 1?
Yeah, I still very much enjoy Unmatched. We haven't played it for a while.
We haven't, actually, yeah. I know me and Ant have played it a couple of times, but we
did the Suns and Oranges recently, didn't we?
Yeah, I think the most recent one you played is probably at Expo when we played the Tales to Amaze.
Yeah.
It was so good. It's such a good box.
We need to get that to the table soon, don't we? But yeah, Battle of Legends Volume 1, obviously, it is where it started. I like the characters in that set. I do keep going back to them. It's not...
They're good characters for a core set, aren't they?
Yeah.
To set the mood for what the game is.
I would definitely say there are better characters out there now.
Oh, totally, yeah.
But you know what? If you're going to buy a nice, decent set, I probably would go Volume 1, because Volume 2 is a very good set. It's got some very strong characters in it. But I think for an all-round gaming experience where all the characters are a bit better balanced, I'd say Volume 1 is probably the best multi-character set they've had.
Most definitely, yeah. It's a good introduction to new players as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the one you introduced me to as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and the Jurassic Park ones, because that's the ones I had first.
Yes.
And then I had the Volume 1,
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still going to give it a thumbs up a year on, obviously, because I love Unmatched. I really do. I would play it every day if I could.
Same.
So yeah, James, is it still a thumbs up?
It's still a thumbs up from me.
Yeah, cool. And I think it's a dumb
2 thumbs up. It's a dumb question, really, to be honest.
Yeah, double thumbs up from me.
Yeah, Jason, it's a dumb question.
I know.
Move on.
Question. Yeah,
even if they come up with Shakespearean characters, I'd still give it a thumbs up.
Okay.
Oh. I haven't bought that yet, all right? I don't even know if it's out.
I don't think it's out yet. Yeah.
Jason, it's a dumb question. The third voice has spoken.
I have spoken.
Has spoken. And on that, we're going to move swiftly on from that, because we do not want to upset the third voice. So we will blast off
How long is this going to carry on for?
His wrath is unending.
We will blast off away from that one, straight up into space, because we need to talk about the other game that we talked about this time last year. And this is going to be a hard one, because I know I haven't played it for a while. I'm actually struggling to remember how to play it, and that is Space Base by AEG.
I like that game.
Yes, I remember liking the game. I know James enjoyed the game because I might have had to re-listen to the episode earlier, because I couldn't actually remember if it was me and you or me and Paul, but it was me and you. James, memories of Space Base... And are they any clearer than mine?
No. Is Space Base the one with the long track where you're moving cards around?
There's cards that go underneath and on top, isn't there?
You're
slide
sort
them
of
on
building
top.
that. So you've got like that. Your board in front of you, and then you're buying those tall, thin cards. The cards are very similar to like Bandido cards.
Yeah.
And you're slotting them under the different numbers, and then when you roll the die...
Yeah, it is the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it is that one.
Yeah. I remember liking it. I haven't played it since the episode, I don't think.
No. See, obviously, I don't own the game. Anytime I've played it, it's been with Paul's copy, I believe.
Which was the one we played, right?
I believe it was.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But yeah, I'm really struggling because it's been so long since I've played it. And I wouldn't say that that's a bad thing. It's not like I haven't wanted to play it. It's just I don't own it. And... I've had so much else going on. It's not been at the front of my list.
Like I said, I remember enjoying it. It's a good game. It's not one of those ones that I've been, oh my God, I really want to play that again. Sort of thing. There's just, like you said, other games that we've been distracted by. But it's always been one of those ones where if I saw it, I'd be like, oh, I remember that. I like that. I want to sit down and play it.
Yeah. And I would probably be the same. As if it was out on the table right now, I'd happily sit down and play it. I would, and I know I would enjoy it. And you've obviously played this game. How do you feel about it?
I played it with you guys, and I think that's the only time I've played it since. But I remember really enjoying it, to be honest. But I'm thinking I'm just going to mimic what you guys said. I wouldn't say no to it. If anyone had a copy of it, I'd be like, I'd play that again.
Yeah. Do you know what? I might actually try and borrow that soon. I wouldn't mind playing it. Now I'm thinking about it. So, do you know what? Yeah, I actually do enjoy that game. And I'm seeing Paul soon. I might request that, and he can have. Yeah, I think it'll be a fair trade because I can give him his version of Star Wars Rivals back. And he can give me Space Base.
You mean it has actually survived the fire pile?
It's still here. It's in a very dangerous location because it is in the kitchen, so it could easily be set fire.
Is that the hot
steaming garbage? Yes, it is. Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that game. The only thing that is saving that game is the fact that it technically belongs to someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Has he recovered from that episode yet?
I haven't spoken to him. To be fair, I haven't spoken to him. I probably should make sure he's okay.
His games were number one. That's so bad.
But very quickly, Space Base. Thumbs up, thumbs down, James.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. And he's got a double thumbs up for that one.
2 thumbs up.
Wow, I'll give it a double as well. There we go. Right, so that's the games we played last year. That was nice and simple, wasn't it?
It was.
Blitz through that one. Let's talk about some games that we played this month. This is where I ask you guys to pick out an individual game that has stood out to you this month. Be it good, bad, or I guess indifferent, but just a single game that you want to talk about. And you're going to start this one for your punishment and your penance
for not being here
last week and not being here to spread your wisdom.
Right. So, I don't know if you're going to allow me to have this on the episode, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Oh.
You can cut it out.
He is the third voice. What did he is above rules.
I'm above editing. I'm going to get cut. No, so my choice for this month, and I have played it a fair few times last month, is Dune War for Arrakis by Simon.
Oh, let me just turn the mic off.
There we go, see? So, will you stop? So no, this is going to be very much like you said on the last episode with Draft and Write. I think this is potentially going to be in my top 5 of the year this year. Okay. I'm sort of swaying it to be better than Imperium as well, to be honest.
Do you know it's not the first time I've heard that?
Yeah.
First time.
The issue with it, I mean, the reason for it is because I loved Star Wars Rebellion, and these are done by the same guys who did that, as well as War of the Ring. It's just annoying that Star Wars Rebellion never came to the table as much, but I've made it my mission this year for a game like this, which is essentially a 2-player game, but it can be 4. I still need to try it with 4 to come to the table because it is quite an expensive game. I can honestly say I think I've played it nearly 4 times now, so this would be definitely had my money's worth out of it already. I'm in the talks with guys from Ledger Podcasting. Hi guys, if you're listening. And we're going to try the 4-player version with that at some point soon. So that'd be pretty cool. But I do love this game. It is definitely going to be in the top 5 of the year.
Very nice. I know you keep talking about the Legends of Podcast, and I really do want to try and game with them at some point. But obviously, we'll play a good game.
Yeah, of course.
Rather than a Dune game.
I'll let you have it. I'll let you have it. It's your show. I'll let you have it. But no, they're great. They are big fans of Powers of the Grid. So I think you should come down or get to play with them, or they come to here and give it a go. They'd be way up for that. They absolutely love that game.
Get some cross podcast play going.
Absolutely, it'd be awesome.
But yeah, obviously, in jest, I understand you really do enjoy this game. It is a very good game.
Yeah.
It's just, again, it's a theme that just...
No, of course.
It turns me off so much. So it's a real shame.
Yeah, it's a Marmite theme. People love it. People hate it. My main fear when I bought it, because I didn't buy it till like the last day of Expo, was getting it to the table.
Yeah.
Because like I said, Rebellion never came. But I think it's come to the table more than Rebellion has since I've had it. So, yeah.
Very, very.
Absolutely love that game.
Excellent.
Well, James, I am going to hand over to you because I have 2 things written down. And one of them I think you're going to cover. So
okay,
hopefully you do. Because I actually want to talk about the other one more. So, James, talk about a game, predictable or not, that you have played this month that stood out.
That stood out. Well, see, this is a difficult one for me.
Okay.
Because obviously Drafted, right? Mm-hmm. As we have played that quite a lot.
Yep.
In preparation for the episode. And it is a standout game for how good it is. But we managed to pip Terminus in right at the end of the month.
I was spot on.
Yeah.
I figured he wouldn't choose Draft the Right because we'd done an episode on it, and I figured he was going to talk about Terminus. But yes, we did indeed manage to get a Terminus game in just this week, in fact.
So right at the end of the month, so it's counted in this one instead of next month's roundup. And
what were your first impressions of it to start with, I guess?
Wow. It's going to... Our usual thing is 3 plays before we, consider doing an episode on it. I think both of us agreed that this is going to be a 5 game,
if not more.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%.
Because there is a lot going on. I think we sort of explained to you, Ant, that we got the basics down from learning it, but there was a whole load of stuff at the top of the board
we just didn't even touch.
Me, Jason, and Dave basically just went, we're just going to pretend that's not there.
For now, yeah.
For now.
We've already scheduled in another play on Monday, haven't we, in order to go ahead
learn
and learn it a bit more.
But it is very much... I enjoyed it. That was my takeaway from it. I enjoyed it, and I want more.
Yes. I enjoyed it. I sucked at it royally, and weirdly, I want a lot more.
Yeah.
I would like to get better at it, though.
Yeah. This very much feels...
Hence the 2 extra plays.
Yeah, this very much feels like Ark Nova when we played it for the first time, but not having that feeling of, I'm not sure about this game. It's like, it is horrifically complicated, and we are not going to get everything on the first playthrough.
Do you know, weirdly, I say it's weird that it is really complicated, and it's got a lot. There is a lot going on. There's a lot to learn, and it is heavy.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, I think it's going to be another one of them games that once it clicks, it's going to be like, actually, that really isn't that difficult. It's not that heavy. It's not that complex, but it's getting to that point and that mindset.
We're talking about it from a first play perspective, though, because it's like, I would say an initial, I don't know if criticism is the right word, but it's one of those games that we normally do mark down because the initial teach is one hell of an info dump.
Yes.
It's not one of those games where you can outline the basics and then go, all right, we can cover X, Y, and Z.
You need to know everything.
When we get there, it's like, no, you need to know what every single one of these 10 or so points on this circular track do before we start.
Yeah.
And that it is, like I said, one hell of an info dump. And I think that's what made us basically disregard the whole top end of the board was my brain can't physically hold any more information at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just sort of like, I kind of got the feeling, it's like you take Ticket to Ride and then you take On the Underground and then you take the track thing from like Happy Home, you mash it all together, you have some kind of mutant love child and then you inject it with steroids and then give it some muscle making, the muscle powder stuff. It's all of those games.
Give it a protein shake.
Exactly. just filling it with protein shake. And you end up with this sort of, I don't know, like
beast,
world's strongest man type build of a game. You know what I mean? It's just sort of like, there's a lot. There's a lot there, but I get the feeling it is going to be very simple, and it's going to be that light bulb moment where it's a ding, I've got it. Now I know what I'm doing. I felt like an utter moron while I was playing that game because I was just sort of like, wasn't because what I was doing was wrong, because what I was doing was right. It was working.
But it felt like you were doing it wrong.
Because I got to the end of the game, I'm like, I've got next to no points here.
Yeah,
I've not really achieved anything.
The problem, I think that's the large part of what we were ignoring was putting those lobbyists up on those cards, and I get the feeling
scoring.
Yeah, I get the feeling that that's where the meat and potatoes of your points come from.
I guess it's for me personally, it's getting this mindset in because I had the longest line.
Yeah,
like, I had a massive long line, which going on under real world things is like that's going to be a big money earner. But obviously, I didn't achieve any objectives with it. I didn't actually connect anything that wanted to be connected or anything like that. So yes, I may have had the longest line, but it did nothing. Yeah,
and that's the mindset that you might have had the longest line, but it didn't go anywhere.
Exactly. And in this case, size really didn't matter. It just because it was the biggest made it was actually the worst.
Yeah.
So, as many things in life.
There was also that whole upgrade section for upgrading your actions, which Again, I don't know if I want to call it a criticism, but it was very symbology based, those upgrade tokens. And it's like, I don't know what any of those icons are, and there's no text explanation for what they do. So I'm just going to ignore them, because otherwise I'm going to be flicking through the rule book for half an hour trying to go, well, what does that mean?
Yeah. I feel like, again, at the moment, I kind of feel like the game is it's very linear. I feel like I have to do this in order to do this. It's not a case of I want to do this, so I'm going to do that. Because if I do that, I ain't going to build anything. And if I'm not building lines, then I'm not going to gain points.
Yeah. I get the distinct, because me and Dave were talking about this after the game, and I get the distinct impression that those upgrade tokens would probably make some of those other steps a lot easier or cheaper.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's about 8 of them in the store, for a lack of a better word, and they've each got about 4 or 5 symbols on them. It's like, I don't know which one to choose, even if I have the ability to get one, because I need to go look up what every single one of these symbols means.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, my sort of sum up really after our first play is I can see that there is a hell of a game there.
Yeah.
There's a hell of a game, and I can't wait to actually crack that shell.
Yeah.
And play the game fully.
And that's exactly how I feel. It's like, but it's just too much for one initial playthrough to get everything.
Yeah, and obviously just to cover that as well, we obviously are running the game club on a Monday as well, so we constant interference while we're doing that as well, so it does make it difficult, but as I said, we've got it planned in, penciled in for next week as well. Really looking forward to that play as well. That isn't one of the games I wrote down, which is good, obviously. Draft and Write was going to be one of my my mentions, I guess. But I tried to avoid it because we did it. So
I was going to say, Draft and Write, I suppose, really is the standout one from this month, because it's the one we've played the most. It's just like, I felt like I have to talk about Terminus because we just managed to squeak it in.
We did indeed. I did sort of think about it, but I was sort of like, I have a feeling you're going to go for it, so I didn't. Draft and Write was my backup, but the one I actually want to talk about was the game that we played last week, which was Loot.
Oh, of course. Yes.
By Hachette UK. When we had Stephen from Tabletop Games over here, he bought his copy of Loot.
That's right.
And we got it to the table.
We did.
Now, I really like that game. One, because every time I say the name of the game, I have to elongate that Loot part. Second off, it's a Viking-themed game.
Yep.
Me likey the Vikings.
Says the Viking.
It says, well, I'm not officially a Viking, but yeah, I love, But yeah, what do I like about the game? It's a really nice, simple, quick filler type game. If anything, it probably takes longer to set up and tear down the game than it does to play the damn thing. That box needs an insert, something chronic, because that setup is awful.
I can see your anxiety building up when we were trying to pack it.
Yeah, I mean, if it, I'm not gonna lie, if that was my game, it would have an insert before I got it to the table, because I would not want to keep putting that down and packing it back up. But whatever. Other than that, it's a very, very fun little game. Nice and quick. You've obviously got that sort of modular board layout as well. I think I made a ridiculously difficult one for us that was really difficult to get to the far right-hand corner of it. But it's that whole thing as you are Vikings. You have like a little team of Vikings that you are arriving on the shore, and then you're basically racing your opponents to try and gather resources, buildings and villages and all that. And then you're on your own personal board, you're sort of building things out to try and maximize your points. There's certain like blueprints on there or whatever it is that you've got to got to surround it with certain things, and if you do, you flip it over and that gets you points at the end. And then you've got, if you have a certain amount of ammunition or weapons things, if you get, there's a push your luck element because there's public scoring of it on the board. But if you're going to push it, because the higher you get, the more points you're going to get. But I could be on 7, or I could be on 5, and you could be on 5, and I could be sitting there going, well, I could claim the 5 now, which will get me 6 points. But if I wait till my next round and I get another one, that's going to get me 10 points. Yeah. And then I push it. And then you claim it, but then James, who's just got 5, has just claimed it, and now suddenly I'm down to the 4 weapon one, which means I've actually only got like 4 points. Yeah. So it's just sort of, I've pushed it too far. You guys have negated points from me, and I like that. And I think the whole game is kind of like that. You could essentially play it somewhat solitaire because you are trying to just spread out on the board. And obviously, if you get cut off by another player, you're not blocked in. You just have to start your line again.
Different way, yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. It's really good fun. But other than that, that's the only real player interaction I found with it. If I could veer off to the left of the board and you could veer off to the right, and then we are just playing our own little game, aren't we, really? Which I don't think would be as fun, but I'd get it. It would just, then it's a resource management game at the end of the day. But yeah, Loot, because it's 3 O's instead of 2. Loot is a great game. I really like like I said, the jostling for certain resources. I really love the competition that you get going from that, and I love the fact that you get just a smidgen of screw you dusted over the top of it. It's just got a little bit of everything for me. Not too much, but not too little. It's just right. It's just
a little bit douchiness.
A little bit of douchiness, a little bit of strategy, and a little bit more douchy.
That also, because I did wonder if you were going to say another game, actually, because I haven't actually asked you about that game night you guys had with Stephen that I couldn't attend, which was, I did wonder if you were going to go for Courtesans, because you did play that as well.
I do like that game.
I mentioned Courtesans last month, which is why I didn't bring it up this month.
Oh, didn't you mention...
Oh, there is our thunder.
It's getting closer. I was going to mention... Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Didn't you mention that in your hype section, though, not your actual play section?
Possibly. I can't.
Yeah, because I was just wondering how that went, because that was a game that I was kind of... Oh, I like the premise of this. How did you actually find it?
Well, I'd played it before anyway, and yeah, I really enjoy that game. But Ant, that was your first proper playthrough.
Of Courtesans, yeah.
How did you find it?
I loved it. I mean, it was definitely trying to get used to it first time round.
Yeah.
And we had a totally different game second time round, didn't we?
Did,
so,
yeah.
And then I've got it to the table a few times since then as well at my place. So I do really like that game. Yeah. I really do.
It was really interesting because we played 2 games that night. The very first game we played, almost all of us were just, I think every family, if I remember correctly, was in disgrace.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
And then the second game, almost every family was esteemed. So it's really weird how we were both sort of, all of us in that we're sort of like, no, we're feeling positive on this one. We're doing the old positive Pete. No, I'm being negative now.
Yeah, it was the objective cards that we had at the time that changed that game, didn't it? So
yeah, I mean, that's the key thing though, is that there's the replay value of it, isn't it? Is that those objective cards completely changed the games, and those games were only 10 minutes apart.
Yeah. I'm surprised at how quick that game is and how simple it is. I think that's another reason why I like it.
Yeah.
Pick up 3 cards, play 3 cards, done.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like the fact that I can't play 3 cards to the same thing. It's like, no, I have to give 1 to an opponent, 1 to the board, and 1 to my own.
And there's always that one you don't want to give to the opponent, but you have to.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it.
Because the other ones are just, I really don't want to give this one to my opponent, but I don't want to give this one to them because it will really benefit them. I really don't want to put this in the middle because it will hinder me.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to give them this one, which will benefit them, but probably not quite as much as this one. And then so, well, no, I'll just give it to James instead. Sob James. You know. And that's the thing. It's not that you've got to pass it to the person to your left or the person to your right.
Anyone, isn't it?
You choose.
Yeah.
You choose. I like that.
Does that mean you could technically gang up on one player by everyone basically go, here you go?
Yeah.
Theoretically, yes. But it's because you're in control of who's esteemed and who's in disgrace on the board. It's like you would, we'd have to basically, me and you would have to agree to completely screw over Ant before we start the game. Because it's not just a case of giving Ant these cards. We've got to give Ant these cards and make sure that family
is fallen from grace.
Are fallen from grace throughout the game. And he could, because at the end of the day, he's obviously got to play cards to the middle. If he sees that we're doing that, he's just going to counteract that by playing positive cards and nobles to it, or assassins to kill off those ones that we're putting. So there is an element of, yes, we could gang up, but actually it's
kind of balanced. I could still come back to it.
Balanced out. Yeah,
I quite like, because it's like obviously agreeing beforehand to stuff over a player is wrong.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's just the way the game unfolds. If, especially in a game like that where you're sort of like, it just develops that way.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you want to win. So it's like, Ant's having a tough time and, the kindest thing to do would be finish him off, basically. So
you heard it here, folks.
It just kind of develops that way. It's like,
everyone's going for the third voice.
Oh, yes. Indeed.
So it's nice to hear that there is almost like a balancing mechanic there to sort of...
The third voice.
The third voice has spoken.
We have invoked his wrath.
I really hope that was picked up on the mic. I'm pretty sure it was.
So good. What timing?
Don't ever suggest ganging up on Ant because his anger rules.
That's some good picks there, guys.
Yeah, no, very, very good. So has anyone else they got that they do they want to cheat? Does anyone want to bring up a second game?
But we've only played the one, so maybe get it in second in time and then we'll mention it next month.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. Well, before we get on to talking about the news for this month, I just want to very, 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 very quickly head on down to the Hype Club.
The Hype Club!
Because we all love the Hype Club.
The Hype Club, yeah.
There, Hype Club.
The Hype Club.
Where, of course, the only rule that we have about Hype Club is that we have to talk about Hype Club.
Of course you do.
So,
otherwise there'd be no hype.
Exactly. Anthony, what are you hyped for this coming month? Any games, any events that you're attending or anything like that?
Well, Jason, I'm hyped up because a certain game on GameFound finished today and it took my money and I shouldn't have done it.
Oh, dear.
But I have gone for DC United.
Oh, no, you didn't.
I did.
Oh.
I wasn't going to, but then the playmat came out and one side of it was Batman themed and the other side was Superman themed and that was it. FOMO kicked in and I did it. So,
oh, no.
So, yeah.
I would say you don't learn, but you've actually taken Marvel United back from me, haven't you?
In all fairness, I have a group of guys that are comic book fanatics that I do for my podcast now, and they would be super hyped to play Marvel United again. Hence why I asked for it if I could buy it back off you again, and you were very kind enough to give it to me. The playmat arrived today as well.
Oh, you bought another playmat?
I've got another playmat. So yeah, I do believe it finished today, so it'll be out next year. Looking forward to that. Very hyped for it. Can't wait.
Nice. Did you see they announced some more Marvel United today?
I did. It's not happening though. I'm limiting myself this time.
Really?
Yeah.
James, right.
We have it on record.
The third voice has spoken.
The third voice has spoken. We have it on record when he says that he's going to back it because it's going to be a GameFound, isn't it? It's not going to be a retail release.
It won't be.
We shall see whenever the hell that comes onto GameFound, James.
If it has a nice playmat, then it will kick in. But for now, no.
Note to publishers: if you want to sell any kind of random guff,
just put a playmat on it.
And
I'll buy it off you. Just shut up and take my money.
You are that mean.
I do love a playmat.
Yeah, the ironic thing being you actually have the storage solution for neoprene mats.
I do.
Hanging on the back of the door.
There you go. So you can store it here.
Yeah, 40 playmats that thing can hold.
There we go.
And I'm almost half full.
Even I don't have that many playmats. I thought I was bad.
We're out here ribbing Ant for his playmat obsession. It's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I have less than 10. Let's just put it out there, by the way.
I'm just going to defend myself here. At least one of them playmats is yours, James. So I feel vindicated.
So he still has 19.
Yeah, one down, 19. 19 to justify.
Yeah, I'm not going to try.
But yeah, that's my hype club. James, what's yours? What are you hyped for?
James, what are you hyped for?
So yeah, this was a bit of a lean one for me this month, but then Jason informed me that the Dynagenics expansion has been announced.
Yes.
When it is going on to crowdfunding. So I already know that he's backing it.
Oh yeah. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, because he's been...
I've spoken.
Pipe down up there, Ant.
This would have been good on the episode I wasn't on, right? Come on.
Yeah. You had your time. The second voice is speaking.
This is it.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. 2-game James has spoken. Go on, 2-game James.
So I've enjoyed both of the current Dynagenics. So yeah, I'm very hyped for the third one.
So is it an actual new game, or is it just adding on to the original?
I will let Jason chime in on this one, but I believe there is expanded content in it as well as...
Oh, yes, there is. Oh, yes.
as well as if you pledge at a certain level, you get a big box to put everything in.
Yeah, I think essentially if you're buying the new stuff, there'll be a gigantic box, because let's be honest, the original box is not exactly small, yet it's nowhere near substantial for the original stuff. Now you've got to add in new stuff as well. You've got that monstrous reworked board.
Yeah.
Which I'm really glad that they've listened to people, because one of the key complaints that people got, especially after Control Chaos was released, was the sheer table presence. While it's amazing, I've got a big table in here, but we struggle to play that game in here at a 4-player count. This new one, they have specified that main board, which now has the Control Chaos stuff, it has the original stuff, it has all the new stuff, all pre-printed onto this board, will fit and still give playable area on a 3x5 table, which is your average table size that you will buy from the likes of IKEA. So that, I think, is really good.
Yeah.
So it obviously means we're going to get a more condensed board. I'm very happy with that. No announcements yet about a neoprene version of it. That needs to happen.
So what is happening with your old one? Is that going? Are you replacing it? Is it adding to
I really need to see what's going to happen, what they're going to release. Because by the sounds of it, they are going to do a level where if you've got the old stuff, they will give you all the new stuff and the stuff to alter what you had previously.
So you can upgrade, yeah.
I'm not so sure, because they did that with version 2. They fixed a few things from version 1. But I don't like the idea of changing the boards. I'm very tempted to maybe sell on my copy and then just go all in for the new stuff. But we'll see. Like I said, it's coming out, I think, early October, late September, early October, I think it was.
Of this year?
No, sorry, September 3rd, wasn't it?
Yeah.
September 3rd is when they're doing the crowdfunding.
Oh, sorry, I thought the game was out then.
It's going to be next year, let's be honest. It's going to be next year, maybe even the year after. But apparently a lot of this stuff has been fixed from previous iterations. They've listened to the feedback. There's new dinosaurs, there's new buildings, there's all sorts of new stuff. I did have a big long list of stuff written down. I can't find it on my notes. So, not great.
I'm sure we'll come to it when the Kickstarter comes out.
Spoiler alert, when the Kickstarter goes up, we will be talking about it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Exactly.
Hell yeah, we will. Hell yeah, we will. Because I will be hype.
Yeah. So that is...
At the Hype Club.
I would say that is my hype thing, because it's like, it's progress, moving forward. We've got a date for the crowdfunding. It's like, it's happening.
Yeah. I just want to ask one question. Ant, you've been bugging me forever to buy my copy of Dinogenesis.
Here we go. Now you want to sell it.
Are you going to buy it? Are you going to back it? Because I know at least 3 people that are actually going to back this already, that have wanted
I don't
this
need to
game
back it because you're backing it, so why would I need to?
Yeah, but I had the original stuff, and yet you still wanted it.
I did.
You know,
we'll have a chat.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We might have to.
I can't even get Dinosaur World to the table. You think Dinogenix is going to get there as well?
I wouldn't mind playing that. I wouldn't mind playing that again. But the far superior to Dinosaur Island is getting a new iteration in Dinogenix, and that will be coming to crowdfunding. I believe it was September 3rd. Very good thing to be hyped about there, James.
Very good thing, sir.
I managed to.
It is far superior.
Avoid putting that on my hype thing. But for me, I am hyped about just a little bit of a thing. And this one is a bit of a cheat for me, because last month I had the miserable time that was working at Wimbledon Tennis Championships. And as an added salt into the wound that was created by said awful event that people should never watch, they should just cancel it, because it always interferes with my life and it really, really annoys me. But either way, I was forced to miss my monthly game day, James. I was forced to miss it, Anne. And I was depressed.
Right, okay, yeah.
That's my one day where I get to play games all day. And I got to miss it. And I was really, really annoyed. I won't have that this month, so I'm hyped to attend a full gaming day again.
Do you know what? I was waiting for him to say that he's back to tennis board game. That's what I was waiting for.
I did wonder if he was about to announce Wimbledon the board game.
Yeah.
Let's not.
Will it come with a Jason miniature pushing water around us?
So yeah, it's a real
game developers.
Make it happen.
There is a game idea where you have to deliver water around the site of Wimbledon Tennis Championships.
Yes. Call it hate water.
Yeah, just to wind up Jason, someone please develop that.
The Jason rages.
The Jason,
You've spent all day at work. Would you like to play a game that involves your work?
Yeah. Oh, I'd love it. Clearly.
You don't have to play. You can live it now.
Yeah. So yeah, I've cheated a bit. I'm looking forward to going to an event where I get to game all day because I very
makes
much
sense,
need
yeah.
it.
That is not cheating at all, because I believe you're referring to Paul's game day, which
am
is
indeed.
definitely something to get hyped about, and anyone who has the opportunity to go should go.
You goddamn shill.
Yeah, well,
That's one way of putting it.
There's nothing I hate worse than board game shills. Honestly, it's really, really, really low when people do it. But there you go.
hey, Paul's on the staff technically, so
Yeah. Well, it is a good game day. I'll give him that. But yeah, don't shill. Don't shill. It's very unprofessional. Anyway, that is the end of Hype Club, is it?
I've got one question, because
Questions?
we are drawing close to an event that I'm not attending, which I'm very salty about, but you two are.
Right.
You've got to be at least starting.
No.
You've got to be starting to feel the hype.
There's another Hype Club before that.
This is interesting though, because if we were talking about Expo at the 2-month point, you would definitely be sort of.
I think we actually need to buy our tickets for it first, Jason, before we get hyped up for it.
That would be a good idea, yeah. So we've got the accommodation. That's all sorted. But yeah, let's not talk about accommodation. That's a whole episode on its own. How rubbish is booking.com?
For anyone listening to this, Jason might have had a bit of issue with his hotel for UKGE next year.
Yes. Yeah, and you guys are staying in the hotel.
No, we have to stay hyped. Come on, we can't be negative.
Oh, we can.
Oh, Hype Club's over. It's fine.
It's over now for it.
So, news. I lost my no. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Right.
Why do I get the feeling that's like that, clip from The Simpsons, angry man shouts at cloud. Angry podcaster shouts at booking.com.
Right, so anything else you guys want to talk about Hype Club? No? James, you are right. We are pretty hyped for it, but yeah, I think it's still just that little bit too far off.
Is it because you personally have not been, so you don't really know what
to
no,
expect? Trust me, I am very hyped. Very, very hyped. But I'm just calm and collected when I'm around company.
So what you're saying is when we're not here, you just bounce around in circles, like?
Of course I do. There's a reason I've started putting padding on the walls.
Makes sense.
You thought they were acoustic panels, right? I was like, no, that's padding. Making a padded cell in here.
I was going to say, the scary thing is that this is very believable.
Right. We need to start talking about the news because there is a fair bit to talk about. And we are 50 minutes into the episode. So we will try and blitz through this as quickly as humanly possible. I thought this was going to be a fairly quick episode until maybe 3-4 days ago, because the news just really wasn't that newsworthy up until about 3-4 days ago. And then the alarm bells were going off at Meeple Minded HQ because everything just hit at once at the end of July. So I've handpicked a few of these things. Hopefully we want to talk about them. We've already talked about one of them. Thank you very much, James. I was going to bring up about Dynagenics from Ninth Haven Games. So story 1, tick. We have done that already. That's coming out. I'm sure it was September 3rd. I want to say that's the date. I could be wrong, but
around that sort of September.
It is, yeah.
It's around the September,
October time, yeah. And I will be backing it. So there we go. I don't care how skint I am. I will go homeless to get that game. Because then I can live in the box.
Living in a cardboard box.
So yeah, we'll skip that one. Now the next one, gents, I want to mention. I know I have talked to. I definitely sent it to you, Ant.
Okay.
I'm sure I mentioned it with James, which is of course going back to the game, one of the games we were talking about earlier, which is of course Unmatched Adventures. They have announced a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles version of Unmatched Adventures cooperative game coming to Kickstarter in September 2024. Very, very soon indeed. How do we feel about this one, guys? Because we're now introducing IP into the cooperative version of Unmatched. We all know how I feel about IP within the game.
Yep.
Because the few sets that I don't own.
Yeah, the IP-based ones.
And I'm struggling on this one.
We've got to have expected it, though.
I guess we could, yeah.
Like, I'm not going to lie.
I'm glad it's not Marvel.
I'm surprised that it's not Marvel.
Yeah.
And that they've gone with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I think I could put that as a positive, because when I heard about like them potentially bringing the IP to the co-op side, my immediate thought was, oh great, another Marvel set.
Yep.
So to see that it's not a Marvel set, I'm actually quite happy about.
Mm. Yeah.
Obviously it's an IP from my childhood, so I am kind of excited to see that. I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah. I'm not really sure I need to ask I don't think we need to ask the third voice in this, because I know what the answers to this is. But Anthony, how do you feel about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Oh, I wish we could go back to the hype club. Yes, come on. It's TMNT for crying out loud. I am a big fan of this. When it was announced, I was like, yep, this is happening. And then Paul put the pictures for the minis up today. That Shredder mini. Oh my God. It's equal to the Mothman from, Unmatched Adventures. It looks so good. I cannot wait. If you're not backing this, I definitely am. All the way.
Well, I mean, that's one of the key things here, because that's going to be my biggest takeaway from this. Is it's not that we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming to Unmatched. I'm excited for that. Don't get me wrong. Very excited. And the co-op game makes sense.
Yeah.
What I'm very, very interested in is, while it hasn't been, I guess, announced officially, air quotes, when we had these, because it's crowdfunding for this one, it's not straight to retail. And they did this with the original Adventures game, Tales to Amaze.
They did, yep.
And we had a real issue with that, because here in the UK and in Europe as a whole, I believe, we couldn't get that game on the crowdfunding. It was limited to the States.
Yeah, Restoration had an issue with sending to UK, didn't they? Or to Europe or something like that, wasn't
something
it? Yeah,
like that. And then eventually we got the game, because it was obviously announced that Yellow were going to have the distribution rights here, which is fine. There's not a problem with that. The problem we had is we missed out on a lot of goodies, so to speak. Like in the American one, I think they got lots of different miniatures as well.
Yeah.
And that would be really cool. But we missed out on that. This one, someone asked the question on a post that they announced it on, and it was replied to by someone within the company, and it was stated that this will have worldwide distribution.
Nice.
Now, that could be misinterpreted, I guess. Does worldwide distribution means we're going to get another situation of, Yellow are going to distribute it? Or are they actually saying, no, in this campaign, this will be worldwide distribution from the campaign?
I would imagine, again, take with a grain of salt, because we don't know insider stuff, but I would imagine in the context of the question, they're smart enough to know what the person was asking.
Yes. Yeah, one would hope so, and I really hope so, because if that is the case, this has my money.
Yeah.
Which concerns me, because it's in September. That is also the same month that we're going to get the Dynagenics stuff.
That's why he's not hyped for Essen. He ain't going to be able to afford it.
So Essen may well be off the table at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose, like, just zipping back into Hype Club, I am kind of hyped to see all the stuff he brings back from Essen.
I mean, at the end of the day, when you've got an IP as big as TMNT, if you're restricting it to just one country, and having get people to, then you're going to lose fans over it at the end of the day. Tales to Amaze, fine, it wasn't too bad because it wasn't major IP, characters. But when you got something as big as TMNT, everyone's going to want it.
Yeah, So I mean, just talking about the artwork a little bit, because I've not seen the miniatures and stuff yet. I know that they've been released. Yeah, and I had a little glimpse earlier, but I haven't really looked at it, because then I would have had to rewrite this news completely, because I would have been talking about it constantly. So I will be looking at that after we've gone off air. But the artwork I've seen looks very, very retro, which I like. It doesn't look like they've gone down the modern cartoon route. However, TMNT is getting a bit of a revival at the moment. Yeah. So you're going to have all of those new people coming in. So it'd be interesting to see how they've dealt with that with the artwork, and and the characters in it. Because yes, we know we've got the 4 turtles, and I believe the front of the box does specify 3 villains on it as well. I can't remember who. I might get the picture up in a minute and have a look. But they've also specified lots of different characters. So I'm like, well, how many is going to be in this? Because Tales to Amaze didn't have that much. You had the 4 heroes and the 2 villains. Yeah, I've seen at least 3 villains listed for this game. So I'm interested just how many. I mean, who do you think we're going to see in the game while I have a quick look to find the picture?
You've got to have someone like the Bebop Rocksteady characters or Kang or whatnot. Not many people are going to know what Leatherhead and Rat King is and whatnot. There's going to be ones like Baxter Stockman, maybe. Obviously, not in that box. They might do expansions to add to it because, again, with TMNT, that's a whole IP with extendable amount of characters. April O'Neil, Splinter as well, don't forget, and the Foot Clan as well, obviously. But I think it's not just the Tales to Maze box or anything like that at all. It's the fact that we can actually get these characters into the rest of our match. We can have Dracula versus Leonardo now. We can have Sinbad versus Raphael. You know, it's just
fighting over pizza.
Exactly. It's just endless amounts of combinations you can have on a match. Another reason why I friggin' love that game.
Yeah, indeed. I'm totally here for it, man. I really am. It looks so damn good. I'm still trying to find the picture of the box, to be honest. Oh, there we go. That'll do. Unfortunately, it is a picture of the one that has some of the minis in it, so I'm kind of trying not to squeal like a little girl as I look at this picture. Load, damn it! There we go. So yeah, I see Shredder, Krang, and Minions. But
okay.
It looks like there's a blacked out thing on there, so
so to be confirmed.
It looks like that might well be a. These miniatures, man. Oh, they look so good.
And let's face it, name a unmatched game that has bad miniatures in it. They're
very
always
true.
good.
Yeah, very, very true.
For the price you pay, the miniatures are always outstanding.
Yeah. So I'm very excited for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Unmatched. Adventures Cooperative, it's such a mouthful, that
Just TMNT Unmatched.
Just TMNT Unmatched. Really here for it. Even if I don't play the cooperative game, which if it's anything like the first one, we will be playing the cooperative game. But short of that, give me 4 new characters. Love it.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice to have TMNT in a game that doesn't suck.
True.
Yeah.
And we're so playing it with pizza that night.
We are. Sleeved cards, obviously.
Has to be.
Yes.
It means I can get the chicken wings as well. That's all right then. Yeah, there's the face.
Yeah, we'll see about that one.
Anyway, Wingstop will be open by then.
It will be.
That's true. It's very true.
What's the next bit of news, Jason?
Okay, so the next one, I don't even know if I want to mention it, to be honest, but I'm going to because I know there's people out there that it will affect and will enjoy. It will enjoy listening to it. It's not June.
Oh, wow.
It is the announcement of another crowdfunding campaign, this one from Leder Games, with a new expansion for Root. And less said about that, the better. So we'll move on. No. So very, very quickly, I thought we were done with Root. I could have sworn they said, we're done. We're not doing any more. And then we get another crowdfunding campaign. First off, why is it a crowdfunding campaign? I don't understand. They don't need it.
Is it just the expansion on the crowdfunding, or are they doing everything again for people that
I would assume that they'll probably do all of it, but you can buy it all retail anyway. It's not like it's limited edition stuff.
I thought they moved away from Root and went to ARCs now, but obviously not.
Yeah, so that seems to be what everyone's talking about, and I don't see it.
No.
But yeah, I kind of, don't get me wrong, I still like Root. I'm just kind of done with it.
Yeah.
I've still got it, but I'm not urging to play it because I just can't be asked to reteach it to new people. And it's giving you 2 more factions, which I didn't buy the last expansion because it was too much.
To me, I was going to say, Root is one of those classic examples, surely, of expansion bloat.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely say that.
How many is it already got then?
I mean, I've got probably the first 2 expansions, I believe. And I think there was another 2 that I don't have.
Wow, so this is the 5th one.
Yeah, it's like the 4th or the 5th is what I would say. And that's not including the mini expansions, because you obviously had the mini expansions for the, what's the Lone Ranger one from the starter box?
The Vagabond.
The Vagabond. You had, the different Vagabonds as a mini expansion. You've had all of the upgraded pieces and stuff. And don't get me wrong, it's all lovely, lovely stuff.
Overkill.
It is, but for the base game does what it needs to.
Yeah.
It's literally most of those expansions just add a new faction.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. With the expansions, I think they all add at least 2 factions. I think at least one of them adds 4.
Yeah.
And that's all this is doing. It's going to add another 2 factions, probably another board. Well, it will be another board because you always have the dedicated board for those factions. I'm just done with it.
Yeah,
to be honest, I don't think it needs more.
No, it is one of those games where it's like, to me, the base game was adequate enough.
Yeah.
And because the expansion is just adding a new faction, it's like it's not fixing anything
else to it. Yeah.
It's not really adding anything. Like some of the factions have some quirky mechanics to them, but it's not worth it. If you're not interested in the faction, you're never going to use it.
No, exactly. I think it's frogs and bats.
Yeah, it's
for this one.
Yeah, it just reeks of expansion bloat at this point.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I think a lot of games from later games are now lifestyle games, right? Like if you're a later games fanboy, for example, you're going to love this, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to want to buy it. Totally get that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I think, for your average market, I don't think it's needed. And I would be interested to see how well the campaign does. I'm in no way going to say it will fail because it won't. It will make probably millions. I would just be interested to see how much it makes in relation to the other expansions that they did. Because obviously Root is now quite an old game.
I was going to say, I haven't seen it or anyone mention Root for ages now. It's very weird how it's just come out of nowhere.
Since then, you've had Arcs.
Yeah.
You've had, I forget what the other one was called. There was another one that they did that everyone was hyped about as well. Anything that comes from sort of Cole Worley.
Yeah.
Or I can never remember how you pronounce his name, but later games and that team.
Yeah.
They always seem to get the people's juices pumping when it's announced. But I haven't really seen that with the announcement of this. Whereas every other game they've done, it's been everywhere. But yeah, I know people out there wanted to listen to it. We've mentioned it. I'm not bothered by it.
Moving on.
I don't think this is going to be something that I will be purchasing. So I will move on. Now, favourite thing for me, let's bring some negativity to this show, shall we? Too much positivity going on here. No, unfortunately, this one is quite sad news. I say sad. It's not like people have died or anything like that. Don't worry, it's not that.
It's not that depressing.
It's just a bit upsetting, really, to see this within our hobby because now we are having to face the fact that we now have a fair amount of scammers within the midst of our hobby, and they are really trying to ingrain themselves in the hobby now because in the past month, a couple of publishers, in fact, multiple publishers and designers have been scammed by a group of fraudsters claiming to be Thomas Covert, which is the guy that runs the Board Game Revolution Facebook group, which has 80,000 plus people in it. Very big group, very well-known person within the hobby. They have been basically messaging publishers and designers claiming to be this person looking for review copies, so on and so forth. And unfortunately, by the time it got out that this was happening, got to Thomas himself, who then immediately responded to everyone he knows to say, it's not me, don't deal with it. Unfortunately, at least 2 have come out that will work and said, unfortunately, we have sent out various things, including things that haven't even been announced yet. So, yeah, there's a lot of people out there basically trying to claim that they're this person in order to get free product, as well as many other things. They haven't specified what, but product is obviously something that they're gunning for. And obviously, these people, I mean, they're scum. We know that they're scum, right? But it's just a shame now because this is someone who does a great job within the board game hobby. He runs that amazing community group that's worldwide based. I know they've had their issues in the past with trolls on the page and stuff like that, but it kind of pales in comparison to someone impersonating you to get free stuff. Potentially well, at the end of the day, if they're saying they're going to do reviews,
yeah,
and then those reviews don't come out, that gives the publisher a bad taste on that person, and it's not even that person.
It is this, while it's always upsetting, and yeah, I feel for the guy because they've used his name to thing, but this is exactly, you don't want to victim blame, I suppose, from this, but it's exactly the same with every other scammer, and you have to turn around at the point and go, why didn't these publishers do their due diligence with this kind of thing? It's like, verify that you're talking to the person you think you're talking to before you send them stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to know what those processes are.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these people actually know him. They know him personally.
Yeah.
Now, my argument is because they've obviously started investigations into this because there's multiple laws in the states that they're breaking.
Yes.
That are being broken by doing this. And so far, 3 locations have had games sent to them, and that is Florida, California, and Louisiana.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before they nail that down as to exactly where, and then people can, be held accountable, I guess.
Yeah, I get it. It's
But if they know this person, it's like, surely you should know they don't live in these locations.
Yeah, it depends how well. I suppose it depends how, but it's just one of those things. It's like, you should have done some you're talking online.
Mm.
So regardless of whether you know this person or not, well, if you're talking online and you're talking about product and, as you said, things that are in development that haven't even been announced yet, you would have thought they would have, let's make sure that this is actually who we're talking to. I suppose it's a little bit different if his personal site's got hacked.
Mm.
So it's like they're using the same channel of communication they normally do without realizing that someone else is effectively on the other end of the line.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I guess this is just a downside to doing everything via email.
Yeah.
It really. I mean, don't get me wrong. It benefits me because I deal with everything by email as well. I hate talking on the phone.
I hate talking on the phone. But yeah, I would, I don't know. I almost expect, regardless of, like I said, how well you'd think maybe a Zoom call or something like that. It's like, I want to see the person I am about to send my...
Yeah. Just to authenticate it, isn't it?
Yeah. I want to physically see the person that I'm about to, in these cases, send my unannounced, highly top secret, effectively, product to. I want to know that I'm actually talking to this person.
Yeah. I mean, looking past it, I can't imagine they've sent out anything that's too hush-hush or whatever. Like, it might be a few games that would be like, they're going to be announced at the end of the month or something like that. But the bit that upsets me about it, and I don't know if it is going to be that way at all, but you'd think the only people that would want to do this are people that are trying to get free games, right?
Yeah.
What we would normally determine as air quotes, scammers, they're all about money, right? There ain't nothing you're going to get from getting free copies of games. Yes, you might get a free copy of a game, you might sell it, you might get 50 quid. That's not the kind of money that a scammer would be interested in. This sounds to me like people within the hobby who know how popular, know this person.
Yeah.
Not personally, but they know of them. They know that they do things like reviews, and they've just gone out there and just be like, oh, my name is this person and I'm reviewing for Board Game Revolution. Send me some free stuff, basically. And it's just sort of like that. That's really depressing.
Yeah, it feels like a betrayal, doesn't it? Because, like you said, it's not one of these scam operations, like you said, that are not going to be interesting. That's someone from within the hobby who's chancing it to get some free stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, that's not.
But then that,
yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's almost worse.
Yeah.
Then it makes it harder for podcasts like us to actually get in with studios and
it does,
try and earn their trust when they've, well, do you know what? I've kind of, learned from past experience that I need to try and do this a different way.
Yeah.
And, it's like when we had to try and have an interview with Kim and try and convince him to go with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I can't stand scalpers and scammers. It's like, it bugs me. Every hobby you can have in the world, there's always a scalper or a scammer for it.
Of course there is.
And it just infuriates me so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just makes our job harder, doesn't it?
Yep, 100%. And it's I'm obviously sorry to Thomas that he's had to try and deal with this. I'm glad that he got told and was able to react. And a lot of publishers have sort of come out and gone, oh yeah, we since all of this we were approached, but luckily enough we hadn't got to the point of sending stuff out.
Yeah.
But obviously two of them did. At least 2, sorry. I'm not sure how many others, but yeah. Obviously, in the States, we're looking at identity theft, which is obviously quite a serious thing anyway, but obviously because things have been sent, they can also be done for mail fraud, as well as just general fraud. So it's just like, there's some serious things here that when they're caught, and I would imagine in this instance where you've got quite big publishers that have been collared, it's like, you're going to get caught.
Yeah.
They've got your address, for God's sake.
Well,
I mean, unless you've been clever and sent them to a PO box, but I know from dealing with a couple of publishers that they will not send to PO boxes, or they want the PO boxes to be certified, I think is something that they've sort of said, which is basically a business can have a PO box, but it has to be registered.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how it works because I don't have a PO box, but it has to be a registered thing so that it's traceable, basically, as to where stuff is going and who's accessed it. So yeah, one would have assumed that maybe that's what's gone wrong and there's been some cracks that have been slipped through.
I mean, it depends on how sophisticated the person is, because one of the usual tricks with that is you actually, from watching a couple of like YouTube videos on things where people do scam companies like this, you pick an address that's near where you're located, but not you don't send it to your house, you send it effectively to your local area. You know when it's going to go, and you effectively sit there and wait for it, and you intercept it as the post. Yeah, as the postie delivers it effectively.
Yeah. It's Meeple Minded giving top scamming tips.
It's like there's videos all over the internet of how these such and suches operate.
Yes.
But yeah, there's just one of the classic ones.
All those hot steaming garbage guys out there.
I mean, to be honest, you'd have to be a rank amateur to have it sent to your actual house.
Yeah. Well, let's just hope that they
change my address.
Let's hope they get caught, and quickly, and hopefully they can get all that sorted. Yeah. Final thing that I wanted to talk about, I wanted to take it back to being just a little bit more positive.
Yeah.
Back to being positive, Pete, for the final one. And this one is actually quite good, I think, because it's not so much about a board game. It's more of a board game adjacent person. But basically, Maggie Clayton, I believe is how you pronounce her name. She is the former Exploding Kittens senior sales manager, has been appointed head of games at Kickstarter, as Kickstarter are undoubtedly trying to get some of that sort of slice of GameFound's pie back. Because obviously, as we know,
they will try.
At this point, GameFound has taken a substantial chunk of Kickstarter's money away from them over the past few years. And of course, someone who was involved in Exploding Kittens, which was at one point the highest funded game on Kickstarter, seems like a logical thing to have someone who's experienced in running campaigns, and good ones at that, on the crowdfunding platform. So obviously, she's been appointed as head of games. One would hope that that is the first step in trying to make Kickstarter a bit more, a bit more appealing to some of the companies. Obviously, the loss of the big ones like Cool Mini or Not, which was earlier on in the year, that's a huge hit for Kickstarter's backing and their
I don't think they'll come back though, just to the Exploding Kittens lady. I mean.
Exactly. I mean, they're not going to, because they've signed an exclusive deal for 12 years with GameFound, but if they
12 years.
12 years.
Wow.
12 years.
That's a lot of money.
Obviously, the key thing here, I think, is to ask you guys, like, with someone new and fresh coming into a position of power within Kickstarter, specifically for the games division, do you think that she's going to try and get some more tools installed for either the companies using it or maybe the backers? And if so, what would you like to see installed on something like on Kickstarter?
This is definitely the question for you two, because you two are the crowdfunders.
The only thing that's going to get Kickstarter back is not the games; it's the payment plan.
Yeah,
that is the only reason why I'm using GameFound at the moment, because I can pay for it monthly.
Yeah,
I had to fork out a lot of money for the Cthulhu Death Metal Ice stuff, and it was a lot of money. I just don't know how people nowadays, in a living crisis at the moment, is going to splash out £500 for the all-in pledge or whatever it is.
Yeah.
When I can go, oh, hang on, £21 a month for 9 months, done.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Kickstarter needs to do. It's not about the games.
Yeah.
It's literally about a payment plan.
I mean, there's a side of me, I'm genuinely really hoping that Dynagenics goes down the GameFound route, because I could really do with that being on a payment plan. Otherwise, I'm going to have to lump it on a credit card.
And this is the issue.
Because, I'm not going to be able to just drop that kind of money in one go now. You know, we are living in tough times. So I'm not going to lie. The first thing that hit my head when I saw this and when I posed the question of what would I like to see come to the platform, that's pretty much the only thing. Yeah. So I like Kickstarter. I actually prefer Kickstarter's user interface as a definitely. As a customer. I understand that the back end of Kickstarter is a bit rubbish for the actual creators, but as a customer, I much prefer the user interface.
I would imagine, going back to your original question, that's what they've brought in someone like her, because she, like she said, she's run a highly successful campaign. She'll know what it's like on that back end, and what's a bit jank and what needs improving. So she'll be able to come in with that mindset of, okay, how can we improve it for the people who are actually running campaigns?
Yeah. There's one other thing that I think they could potentially look into, but I don't think it's something that they will actually go ahead with. And that is, of course, when GameFound started as a pledge manager, right? And they were a pledge manager for the likes of Kickstarter campaigns,
well, yes, right? Yeah.
And then they moved into the crowdfunding thing just a few years ago, and BackerKit did exactly the same. They were a pledge manager. They've now gone down the crowdfunding route as well. While there are very, very few Kickstarter campaigns that end up using their built-in, I'll use the term pledge manager in the loosest possible sense, because it's usually a couple of questions and that's about it. I think that might be something that she might pitch, that they actually build and incorporate a fully fledged pledge manager into the Kickstarter system, so that when you've got the likes of GameFound coming to a creator and going, we can crowdfund your game and provide you a pledge manager as one package for one set price, it makes it a bit cheaper than going
gives
to
the consumer the option then, doesn't it?
I've got to pay Kickstarter this much money to use their platform. Then I've got to pay BackerKit to have their pledge manager. Then I've got to pay this person to distribute. If you're starting to minimize the amount of places you're paying money out to, you're going to save your costs. I would like to see, and this is not something that I would personally get to see, I guess, until after the campaign, but as a user-friendly thing for both creator and backer, I would like to see a full-fledged pledge manager installed within the Kickstarter system, and at that point stick in that, payment plan option, so that if there is a game coming out, they go, oh my God, I want to drop 600 quid on that, I can. It will still be a stupid decision, but it'll be a stupid decision that I spread out over a few months.
And it's affordable.
Exactly.
Yeah, because there's a couple of games I've missed out recently on Kickstarter because I just couldn't fork out for it.
I've got to be honest, that's one of the biggest things that puts me off crowdfunding. Because I look at I'm the kind of person who's going to look at these games and go, well, yeah, I want all of that goings. And then I look at the price and go, yeah, I can't afford that in one hit.
Yeah. So of all the things that I'm sure I could suggest that would be amazing but totally unnecessary, they're the two things I want to see, and I hope
let's see if she makes it happen, mate.
Yeah, I hope that's the kind of things that she's going to be coming in for, and not just basically a glorified marketing person.
Hopefully she listens to the episode and gives you a call, mate.
Well, yeah, too damn right. I've got all the ideas right here.
right here.
No, they've obviously hired someone who has a clue what they're talking about. I'm guessing that the interview would have included some "what are your ideas for Kickstarter?" type questions. Hopefully, we'll see some improvement in Kickstarter. I'd like to see Kickstarter remain in the conversation, because in the short time that GameFound has been operating, they've taken a massive chunk.
Oh yeah, 100%
out of that money, and I wouldn't like to see Kickstarter disappear because they started it. So let's hope that this can be done. But I think that's positive. We've got a board game person from within the business has been put into a power place at a big company that is not board game based. Win-win. We're getting more mainstream, people.
Woo.
Well, hey, the board game revolution right here. So that's all the news that I want to talk about.
Nice.
It's getting really damn hot in this damn room.
It is.
Because I had to close the windows because of that thunderstorm, which then promptly stopped. It's really annoying. But there you go. What can we say? Anything else you guys want to talk about this month?
No.
No? Cool. So we won't talk again for another month. It's great. Let's head off then.
Let's do it.
There's no gaming tonight. We played games last night.
We did.
It's time for you to go so that I can go to bed because I'm old, despite the fact that Ant's older than me. But I'm the old
Will
one.
you stop bringing that up?
That's why you're the third voice.
The third voice. You need to add an echo and editing.
Voice of wisdom. There we go. So let's head off. Till next week, I have been Jason.
And I have been James.
I've been Ant.
And you have been listening to the Meeple Minded podcast. Join us next week for more tabletop gaming in this. Ta-ta and goodbye.